I hope so. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the weekly episode of Crizzybooks, the show where I talk about whatever I want. Let's talk about what happened this past week. What happened in my life? How was your week? Was it good? Mine was pretty good. Quite a bit happened as I was going through and writing everything down. I mean, for this, I just write things as they happen to me so that I actually have something to talk about. Because otherwise, I don't think my life's that interesting. So it can be difficult. But anyway, let's just get into what I normally do. Let's talk about the movies that I saw this week. Last week, I didn't have any movies. I didn't watch anything. This week, I watched a couple of things. So finally went and saw Mickey 17. I was very excited to see this. I just read the book Mickey 7 like last month. I liked the book a lot. I think that Bong Joon-ho is fantastic. That guy rocks. I love a majority of his movies. I think that like Snowpiercer is the shit. That movie rocks. Parasite, obviously, that's like Parasite's like a perfect movie. That it doesn't get much better than that. But on top of that, a lot of his older like Korean movies, like Memories of Murder, Mother, those are so good. I think he's great. And I love his sci-fi stuff. Like The Host is a lot of fun too. He does a lot of like weird, fun, interesting things with his movies and his characters. So I was really excited for Mickey 17. And after seeing it, I'm not going to spoil anything. This is just my opinion. But if you don't even want like to have some kind of an opinion going into it, skip over this part. I was a little disappointed in it. I didn't think that it was as good as I had hoped it would be. And I think for him as a director and a writer, it was pretty weak. It reminded me more of like Okja. This is not to say that I thought this movie was bad, and I don't think Okja is bad. But I think in terms of everything else that he's done, and as like this being the follow-up to Parasite, it was pretty weak. That being said, I think that the movie does a lot of things that I really enjoyed. I thought the sets were great. So good. A lot of the effects were really great. The acting is fantastic. Bobby Patz is so good in it. Mark Ruffalo, his character, while it is super on the nose, which is kind of like, okay, we get it. I think a lot of people will like it, but he made me laugh like so much throughout it because it was just so over the top. Toni Collette, always great. And just everybody. I thought everybody did a really great job. It was a fun time. I think that I just expected, I don't know what to call it. Like what was totally off about it. I think that maybe it just kind of felt a little rushed. It didn't feel very like emotionally weighted. Like I didn't feel anything, I think. It just was like this kind of goofy, and it is more of a comedy, but it just was lacking in sincerity, I think, and maybe that was my problem with it. I didn't feel like I connected with any of the characters or anything that was happening. It just kind of happened, and it felt very quick and fast-paced, like maybe a little too fast-paced. But again, not a bad movie. It just didn't live up to like what I expected and what I've come to expect from him. But that being said, if you're going to go see it, go see it. Maybe you won't like it. I think that the book was better. I think that if you're looking for a more explained version of this story that has more fleshed out characters and gives you a better understanding of what's actually happening and why, I would check out the book. I think that it's pretty good. Outside of Mickey 17, again, I don't watch a lot of stuff. I used to watch a ton of movies and TV. And then one day I just kind of stopped. Like, I don't know what it was. I think my brain just finally like hit the limit of like streaming and just like having all these options and everything was just like, we're good. We don't need to watch anything anymore. Which is weird because I love movies and I love watching things and talking about them and all that stuff. But I just have no desire to like sit down and watch stuff really anymore. I still do, but not that much. If you don't know, I have a movie review channel and I never upload anything to it. It's so rare, like maybe once a month. Maybe. I want to start uploading on that more. I want to try and do one a week. I typically tend to watch like stupid stuff. I like bad movies, like so bad they're good movies, or just old, like crappy 80s and 90s movies. A lot of like bad B movies and things like that. That's what I like. And that's what I want to review and talk about. I'm a big fan of the podcast, How Did This Get Made? How they just watch like insanely bad movies and then talk about it. I love movies like that. And that's kind of more what I gear towards. I don't want to review anything that's new. Everything that I review will probably be before 2010. This week I watched Theodore Rex. I have been meaning to watch this for a long time. I remember watching it. I rented it from the video store as a young child, and now I have watched it. And man, I'm glad I did. I heard how bad it was, and a lot of people online were like, oh, it's so boring, it's so stupid. I didn't think that at all. This movie is insane, but I think in the best of ways. Like, if you're going to sit down and watch a bad movie, you want to be entertained, because otherwise then it's just like a waste of your time. I personally felt that this was very fun and entertaining in the worst ways. If you don't know what Theodore Rex is, it's a buddy cop movie from 1996, and it stars an animatronic Tyrannosaurus Rex who can talk, and Whoopi Goldberg, and they team up to take down some guy. It's just one of those movies where stuff just happens and you're like, what? Why? So I'll definitely be doing a review for that over on my film review channel. I'm out of breath. I went up and down the stairs. Whew, good Lord. And I can't breathe out of my nose right now. Outside of that, Righteous Gemstones started up. Didn't realize that it started up, but watched the first episode of that yesterday. Interesting first episode. Very good, actually. Very well done. So sad that this is the last season, but excited to watch it. Video games. Not a great week for video games for me. I went to the library and I got these 2 games for the Switch. I have a Switch, I just don't play it all the time. I bought it mainly so that I could play Breath of the Wild. But I saw these 2 games, I'm like, okay, I'll check them out. One is called Fist. It's a side-scrolling platformer like Metroidvania, one of those games, which I like. I gave up on it. It was like, it's hard to explain. I thought it was mediocre. It just felt kind of clunky and unresponsive, and just like, I don't know, overly tedious sometimes. I just wasn't feeling it. I got pretty far in it too, and then I was like, I'm over this. I'm not doing this anymore. I gave up on that, and then I went through Game Pass games. Like, I just was like downloading game after game and trying to find something. And I don't even know how many I downloaded, like 4 or 5. And I would start them and I'd be like, no. I had another game from the library that I was like, okay, let me put this one in the Switch and I'll play that. It's called Carto. I've never heard of this game. I'm a big fan of like puzzle games. I like games that I have to like figure something out and figure out how to get to the next place. This game is very cool. It's interesting. I haven't played anything like it. To try to explain it, your character is on a map. You can pull out your map and look at it like you would on a normal game. The map is divided into squares, and you can select a square, and you can move that square around. You can, rotate it to kind of fit certain things, and that's essentially how the game works. You go through the world and solve puzzles using your map as a way to, like, get to certain places. Like, certain pieces don't line up perfectly, so you have to figure out a way to get them to line up. It's very interesting. I've never played anything like it. I like it a lot. It's not like a very overly difficult game. It just takes some thought. You have to pay attention to what characters tell you to figure things out. I like it. I think it's good. So that's what I've been playing now. Assassin's Creed Shadow comes out in like 3 days. Very excited for that. And that will probably consume me for the next 3 months. So that'll be good. I won't have to think about anything that I have to play from that point on. Outside of that, I saw the 10-minute trailer for Death Stranding 2, which is very exciting. But then I remembered that Death Stranding is PlayStation exclusive. And then I got really sad. And I realized that I won't be able to play that game for probably like 2 or 3 years. And that sucks. But cool that there's a new Death Stranding coming out. Let's see. Books. So I got some new physical books. If you watch my channel, you probably know I'm an e-reader guy, but I do get physical books if I find them. Usually if I find them used and on the cheap, then I'll pick them up. So I got like 3 new ones here. 2 my wife found for me, and the other I bought. Up first, we've got White Fang by Jack London. I intend to read this. I read Call of the Wild last year for the first time, and I loved it. It's probably one of my absolute favorite books. So I'm excited to get around to reading this at some point, whenever it pops up on my list. But that cover, that is great. Look at that thing. I already have a copy of this, and that cover is great. So now I have 2 White Fangs with cool covers. So that was just cool. She got this like for free at an estate sale. Next up, we've got Patricia Wants to Cuddle. So I went to a, there's a big push. I don't pay attention to shit that is going on, but there's apparently this big movement online, or people just pushing to say like, hey, don't buy from big box stores, just buy from local places, which I try to do anyway. We were at a used bookstore, and I wasn't really finding anything on the shelves that was like, really, I gotta buy it. And then I saw this, and this is on my to read list right now, and I can't really wait to read it. But I was just surprised that they had it. It's new. I don't normally buy new books, but I was like, screw it. You guys can have the extra cash. Love a good Bigfoot book. And lastly, another one my wife found at a thrift store. We have Stephen King's, what is this, Just After Sunset? I can't say that I know what this is. I think it's a short story collection. I'm assuming it is. But I have never... Oh, right. Here, it says stories right on the cover. God, I'm such an idiot. I don't know that I've ever heard of this, actually. And I'm a pretty big Stephen King fan. I think I might be the biggest Stephen King fan of all time, actually. And I've never heard of this. God knows when I'm going to read it. But I love having Stephen King. It's like, I see a King book. As long as it's like a certain type, I'm buying it. Let's see. What else in the book world for me? We've got... I read... Last week I was reading Corpus Chrome Inc. by S. Craig Zahler. It took me a while to read this. I don't know if maybe I'm in a slump. It might be the time of year, time change. I don't know what's going on, but I haven't been reading as much as I normally would in like a night. Maybe it's a book too. I might not have been. I mean, the book's not bad. I don't know. But Corpus Chrome is kind of a future cyberpunk-ish science fiction book. It's hard to explain because at the end of it, I didn't like love it, and I didn't even particularly think it was like great or anything. It was just fine, but it does a lot of things that I think are cool and interesting. It has a lot of cool like concepts, and it can be very silly. It reminded me of Philip K. Dick a lot. I just didn't feel super connected to anything that really happened. The characters are interesting. The circumstances are interesting. It just didn't really seem to culminate into anything that I thought was super meaningful. So unfortunately, but it's still like, it's not a bad book. I didn't love it. And then I started reading The Lathe of Heaven. I'm loving this. I love this book so far. It's been great. I'm probably going to finish it today. It's one of those books that as I'm reading it, I'm feeling like I shouldn't be enjoying this as much as I am, given what it's like about. There's a lot of like, the book's about dreams. It's a science fiction book, but it has a lot to do with dreams. And there's a lot of talk about like psychology and dream states and brainwaves, and there's a lot of sciencey talk in it, which normally I am not a fan of. But this, I don't know, there's just something about it that keeps me very, very, like, I am locked into this one. I like it a lot. I think that where it has gone has gotten very interesting, and it's a very cool concept to begin with. So far, been one of the best books I've read this year. So I'm loving that. Once I finish Lathe of Heaven, I am moving on to You Gotta Want It by Jake Paul. Cannot wait to read that. I hope that it ends up being as bad as I expect it to be. Hopefully it's got a lot of laughs. I'll let you know. I'm sure I'll finish that one. There's no way it can be that long. Let's see, what else? In my life, I found a stray dog, which is both funny and sad. So I have pets. I have a dog and a cat who I love. We love them very much. Cat's right here. She's right down here right now. You want to say something? Do you want to say something? Nah, she's busy being lazy. We always talk about, maybe we could get another dog, but then it's like, it's got 2 dogs, 1 cat. That's kind of a lot. 2's pretty good. And then we've talked about fostering, and I say hell no, because there's no way that I could bring a dog into my house and not fall in love with it and then keep it. There's just no way. Like, I couldn't do it. My heart can't take it. And so the rule has always kind of been, well, if one falls into our lap, if one ends up on our doorstep, then we'll take him. And that essentially happened last week. We were out on a walk with our dog, and we saw this dog. It had no collar, and it looked very skinny and dirty, and it was running, and it ran down our back alley and then got itself stuck in a neighbor's backyard between their fences. I ran home, took our dog home, got a leash, came back, put the leash around her head, and we got her unstuck. And then it just, over this course of, an hour or two, just giving her just some time to realize, like, hey, we're not bad. We're not going to hurt you. No, you're good. You're safe. It was on a Sunday, so most of the shelters were not open. So we were all just kind of standing around because there was neighbors there too, like helping out, and just trying to figure out what to do with her, because all of us have our own dogs, and none of us are like, I'm not keeping a dog. I'm not keeping some stray dog in my house. Like, I can't, whatever. And even I was like, I don't know what to do with her. Like, is our dog going to, like, attack her? Like, I'm worried about, what my dog's going to do. And I don't just want to introduce this stray dog. And then the more that we she warmed up more and more, and I had her on the leash. And so she was getting more familiar with me and coming up and sniffing my face and giving me kisses. And that was it. It was over. I was in love, and I was like, fine. Like, we'll at least take her to the house, and we'll figure out, what to do with her. If nothing else, she can stay in our garage if our dog doesn't get along with her, whatever. And so we did that. We took her to the house. I brought my dog out to meet her. No issues at all. They were perfect. And when that happened, it was like, oh my God. Like, I think I just got a new dog. Everything just kind of kept building, because it was like she was perfect with my dog. She was very sweet. We went to go and check to see if she was chipped. She wasn't chipped. She had no collar. She was just nothing. She looked like a stray dog that didn't belong to somebody. And we had found her, and I was like, she gets along great with our dog. Like, I guess, unless somebody shows up saying that it's theirs, like, I guess we're just going to keep this dog. And that's exactly what happened. Somebody on Facebook was like, oh, that's my dog. It's my neighbor's dog. And then these people showed up, and we had to give her back. And I didn't want to. And to be quite honest, I didn't think that giving her back to these people was a good idea. Not just for selfish reasons. They were definitely selfish reasons, but I also, I'm worried that she is going to get loose again. And I'm not going to be there to find her this time. So I fell in love with this dog, had to give her back against my will. It's been very sad in my head. I keep thinking about it, but that happened. So at least we were able to get her back to where she, I guess, belongs. But so bittersweet, big time. What else? Let's get out of the sad situation. The weather's getting nicer, which is good. It's getting warmer. Getting outside a little more. That seasonal depression, I could feel it leaving me. I could feel the dragon getting off of my back. It's nice. I'm feeling happy. It's St. Patrick's Day today, I think.
Wouldn't you know it? St. Patrick's Day. What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day? You're going down, have yourself a pint at the pub.
What do you do on St. Patrick's Day? Drink green beer? Go down to McDonald's and get yourself a Shamrock Shake from Uncle O'Grimacy, the IRA supporting Grimace. You watch Leprechaun on DVD. You watch the classic Leprechaun in the Tree. Y'all see the Leprechaun in the Tree? Say yeah. I don't know what you do on St. Patrick's Day besides just get absolutely hammered. How was your week? Did you have a good week? Anything fun happen to you? Do anything fun? How's the weather down there? You doing okay? Sound off in the comments below. What are you reading right now? Did you see any good movies? Did you play any good games? Got any game recommendations? Because I'm running out of stuff to play. I don't know what to do. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what's up. How you doing? How's your life? How's your mother? Last week's book review is up and out. It is for The Lost City of Z. So if you've read it, go and check it out because it's full of spoilers. It's a history book, so it's not really spoiling because it's already happened. This is knowledge anybody can look up. But anyway, yeah, go check that out if you're interested. This week, I'll be doing a review for Roadwork by Stephen King. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, that's all. See you later. Bye.